Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to Skyblock 1.16. I'm really glad there wasn't an Enderman there. I hope you're having a good day. In today's episode, I thought I would start off with fighting the dragon a couple of times. I actually fought it 5 times, but lost one of the lava buckets. But I have 4 lava buckets here, and I'm going to head back to the overworld because I need to stash these in a handy shulker box somewhere. Today, I'm actually going to work on expanding the farm a little bit, expanding the Nether Fortress mob farm that we built in the previous episode, and I think... Oh, hello, chicken. didn't see you there. I think we're going to grab a little bit of glass, even though I've had to split the glass between end crystals and the farm. I think I should have enough glass here to finish off outlining the first 2 sets of the spawning platforms and everything in glass. I've been working on this a little bit between episodes, like I said, because I really wanted to get this farm finished up, and I really want to spend today seeing if we can fight the Wither. And while the farm is looking a little bit rough, I would ideally, for aesthetic reasons, like to have the entire thing boxed off. We only really need 6 more pieces of glass, so let me grab another piece of material here, just a cobblestone slab that we can get away from, and there we go. If I drop on down here, I'm really glad I have the elytra at this point. Now there should be nowhere for the blazes to fly out of the farm and attack me from the sides, which, believe me, they have been doing as I've been building this, so it's really nice to have the whole thing boxed in. And as we swoop on down here, that's where we'll find all of the mobs. So let's take out a few more of these mobs, and hopefully we should get a few more Wither skeleton skulls. I already have 3 waiting in here, but I would like to fight the Wither multiple times. What I've heard about this map is that the Wither is the key to getting ancient debris, which is of course what's going to allow us to upgrade our gear to Netherite. So in theory, if we have a more powerful Wither skeleton farm here and we get a bunch of skulls, we could be looking at upgrading our tools to Netherite in this episode. And after just a couple of minutes spent here at the farm, we now now have 6 Wither skeleton skulls, so I think we're going to fight the Wither twice. But right now, I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat, so I think we're probably going to end up doing that in the end underneath the end portal, just to test the theory about whether or not we need to fight the Wither multiple times in order to get ourselves multiple ancient debris. But I'm really happy with the way this farm is working, actually. It's worked out a little bit better than I expected. We're getting loads of drops, of course, blaze rods being useful for potion brewing. You can also use those as fuel. I can always use more bones, the gold, and everything. Like, all of this is just usable loot right now, and I've been chucking out the stone and gold swords as I get them, because inevitably you pick up a few with a farm design like this, but I'm very, very happy that we've got ourselves a decent supply of Wither skeleton drops now. The next question is probably where are we going to get the soul sand, and the answer once again is over here at the gold farm with these piglins, because they will drop soul sand as part of their bartering trades now. So between soul sand and gravel, these guys really have the renewable blocks from the nether kind of sewn up at this point. So we'll grab a little bit of soul sand. That's a lot more than we need, but I think it's probably time to head back to the end and fight our first Wither. Now, to be honest, if we were going to fight the Wither fair and square, I would probably do it here in the end anyway, simply because there's enough landmass around that the Wither has something to destroy and something that I don't really care as much about preserving. Like, I'm really not bothered about keeping the landscape of the end. Plus, endstone is actually fairly blast resistant, so it's kind of a good environment to fight the Wither in. I have actually seen people use the end landscape and do the same method as we do in the overworld, making a tunnel and potentially fight the Wither that way. So we could do that if I'm feeling brave enough. But right now, I just feel like getting to the center of the portal here, which I believe is, yeah, this block here, right here, this one in the center, and setting up our Obsidian Trap for the Wither. So underneath this central block, we actually want to dig 2 blocks down, place the tail block of the Wither summoning formation like so, and then have that T-shape come out like that. Once again, we need 1, 2, 3 blocks, and it needs to be directly underneath that 3rd block that's directly in the center, because that comes up immediately below that pillar of bedrock in the center there, and that's going to make sure that the Wither stays trapped. Always a little bit nerve-wracking doing this for the first time, because of course a lot can go wrong, but I think, there we go, we've summoned our first Wither of Skyblock. I think that should be the right formation to get this done, and I'm going to stand back while the explosion happens, and we should be good to go. There it is. Alright, well, he's already aggroed an Enderman, so that's good news. That Enderman's on his way to the overworld, and gosh, this is loud. Okay, let's hop on down here. Yes, the Wither is contained, and we can hit it with a sword a few times. We've got looting on the sword as well, so hopefully if the drops are affected by looting, we're getting the highest possible chance of receiving these drops. Fingers crossed that we get ancient debris from this first Wither kill, because if we do, we are on the road to netherite equipment. And there it is! Incredible! Okay, we have ourselves our first piece of ancient debris, and of course a nether star for a beacon if we want to make one later. And look at that. Yes, there it is. Advancement made. Goodbye, Wither. Hello, debris. Well, that's awesome. Let's take a look at the custom enchantments herein. Do we have, is it nether? Is it in here? Yes. Goodbye, Wither. Hello, debris. Kill the Wither to obtain ancient debris, and getting a full suit of netherite armor is the challenge. Obviously, having a compass on a lodestone is now possible if we make a netherite ingot as well, and we're going to need 4 of this, and we're going to need 4 gold ingots to make this happen. So, looks like I'm spending a little bit more time at the Wither Skeleton Skull Farm today, but I cannot believe we are now farming ancient debris in Skyblock. That is absolutely wild to me. And like I said, as the series goes on and I feel a little bit braver, a little bolder, we might actually start attacking the Wither in a little bit less of a cheesy way. I think I might do a couple of legit Wither fights in this series, but if we're doing it in the overworld, then I will absolutely need to figure out a way to improve the landscape out there, because fighting the Wither in the air is a little bit miserable. There we go. 2 ancient debris, 2 nether stars. Kind of makes me wish there was more we could do with nether stars now, because if we're farming the Wither for this, we're going to end up with a lot of these, and probably not enough materials to make beacons absolutely everywhere, unless, of course, I end up upgrading the iron farm some more. But there it is, folks, our first 2 ancient debris of the Skyblock adventure. Let's smelt this stuff down into netherite scrap. And of course, I've got so much coal from the Wither Skeleton farm, I don't even mind wasting a little bit of it on only smelting a couple of items. It's just going to be so cool to see netherite scrap in a Skyblock world. There it is, awesome stuff. Getting a little XP from that as well, and once we've gotten 4 of these, we can maybe convert one of these tools, or perhaps one of the pieces of armor I've got here, into a netherite version. So I'm looking forward to this. We're going to need to spend a lot more time at that Wither Skeleton farm, though, and it might mean a couple more dragon fights so we can expand the farm in the near future and get ourselves a near endless supply of ancient debris through those wither skulls. You know what, though? I feel like we could end up making a netherite beacon in this series as well, especially if it's so easy to farm it that way. But I guess I know what I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future here. I'm going to be spending some more time over here at the Wither Skeleton Skull Farm, getting myself a few more skulls. We'll probably have to expand the storage, and yeah, a few more dragon fights required to expand to the other 2 sides. I have 6 buckets of lava, including the 4 that we got from the beginning of this episode. We are going to need potentially about 10 more in order to complete the farm to the specifications of the other 2 sides already. And we could maybe use the lava a bit more efficiently, but I think it just makes sense to have the catchment area as large as it is in these areas. So I figure we'll probably go to a quick break, and when we come back, hopefully I'll have enough Wither Skeleton Skulls for a couple more fights. Okay, after a long time spent here, 64 levels, and oh, so many blaze rods. We have a great deal of blaze rods going on here, but we also have 15 Wither Skeleton Skulls, which is, of course, going to divide out into 5 Wither fights, taking us to almost 2 ingots worth of netherite. And while I would love to hang around this farm and just hack away at Wither Skeletons all day and get a few more fights done, I do have a little bit of other stuff to take care of today, and so what I figured we would do is kick off these next few Wither fights now. That way, we're going to be in good stead to get at least 1 material upgraded to netherite, 1 tool or 1 piece of armor upgraded to netherite. I'm thinking probably a pickaxe or a sword is going to be the best bet for that. We will see. Or I guess we could end up using the netherite ingot on a lodestone and get that achievement, but to be honest, it feels so silly using your first netherite ingot on a lodestone. We do plan on getting a full suit of netherite armor for the other achievement there, but I think there's no time like the present. Let's start fighting these withers and gathering this netherite. Here we go with wither number 1, and this one is still pretty noisy, although I have turned down the sound effects just a little bit so I can hear myself think while I'm fighting the wither. It's so good that we have this method of killing the wither still available to us in the game, because otherwise this would be a bit of a nightmare farming debris this way. There we go, ancient debris number 3, and I'll keep that up here with the rest of it. We also got our 3rd nether star. I'm honestly going to have to come up with something good to do with all of these nether stars, folks. So if you have any ideas for what we should do with those, leave them in the comments, because I honestly don't see myself making a beacon for every nether star we're going to gather here. Here is wither number 2, and it looks like he's going down just as easily as the first one. I do think this is getting my confidence up a little bit for eventually fighting the wither legit, and it looks like we actually didn't get ancient debris from that one. So from what I've been told, there is a small chance that you won't get ancient debris. So looks like we are going to have to farm a little bit more, but at least this gives us a fighting chance of getting 1 set of netherite scrap to turn into an ingot. That's kind of what I was afraid of, though, potentially missing some ancient debris. Even though we've got looting on the sword here, I don't think it quite evens out our chances enough. It may just be a flat 50% drop rate unaffected by looting. But we've got the ancient debris more often than not, so I might as well give it a try and kill the rest of these withers and see what our chances are. Oh, we didn't get one that time either. Oh, gosh. Unless they're, like, going through the portal, but I'm pretty sure the drops would just come out at the bottom here as they have done in previous attempts. We've got 5 nether stars, 5 withers down, but only 3 ancient debris total. Well, here's hoping that one of the next 2 withers gives us our 4th piece. I'm also hoping it's not a factor of the wither taking suffocation damage, but the fact that it still drops XP when it dies at least kind of confirms that the game is considering it a player kill. Yes, there we go. There's ancient debris number 4. Thank goodness for that. We can smelt that down and turn our first tool into netherite. And you know what? Right now, I'm thinking it's probably going to end up being the pickaxe. We've got mending on it already. I'm not certain if I can put mending on this sword. I think I should be able to, but there's points at which the enchantment cost just gets a little bit too high and the anvil considers it too expensive to combine those. So I'm thinking maybe we'll go for the pickaxe to start off with, and then of course the goal is going to be to get netherite upgrades for absolutely everything. But here we go. Will our 7th wither kill of the episode get us ancient debris at number 5? I'm just trying to swing my sword as consistently as possible. Make sure we get the player kill, make sure we get that looting effect if it's making any difference. Hopefully this wither is going to drop us some ancient debris as well. We'll find out in a second. There it is, okay, and I'm fairly certain I didn't quite get the last blow. It looked like it died of suffocation after that. But of course, like I said, dropping XP and dropping the nether star means it just dies, but dropping the ancient debris means that's registered as a player kill as well. So, looks like we are all good here, and I think it's time to head back to the overworld and craft our first netherite tool. For that, of course, we will need something that I haven't even bothered making this entire time. We're going to need a smithing table. So I'm just going to grab 2 iron ingots out of here. We'll need a little bit of wood from our stash in there, and I've been using dark oak wood a lot because I've been farming the trees. Looks like we have a couple of visitors here on the Skyblock Island. I think these endermen are the ones that have aggroed on the wither and ended up in the portal, but it seems like they're not really going to trouble us, so I won't really bother troubling them. Alright, let's get the last couple of ancient debris smelted up. May as well smelt all of this since we are going to need it. And of course I'd need some gold ingots for that, but I've honestly been farming enough gold out of the Nether Fortress mob farm alone that we would have enough for this, not to mention our larger gold farm elsewhere. But look at that, our first netherite ingot in the Skyblock world, and it's time to upgrade that pickaxe. I really need to get unbreaking on this one of these days, but man, it feels so good to have our first netherite tool here in Skyblock, and I'm so happy that we've managed to enchant a pickaxe and get it to netherite level. That's super awesome. What an achievement for a Skyblock playthrough that started from just a tree and a patch of grass. But I think, short though this episode has been so far, that's probably where we're going to call it for today, because I will need to do some expansion of the Nether Fortress mob farm if we're going to maximize our potential to get wither skeleton skulls with that farm. And we are going to need a lot of those if we're going to turn an entire suit of armor into its netherite counterpart. Who knows, in the next episode we might even end up fighting the wither legit without the bedrock portal cheese, but for now I'm pretty comfortable getting myself some netherite stuff this way. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Skyblock 1.16. My name has been Pixlriffs. Don't forget to leave a like on this episode if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys soon. Take care, bye for now.